Would I be the asshole if I told my wife to get off her phone and take care of the baby? This one's tearing me apart. What's your gut telling you? Hit me in the comments with your advice or a story that hits close to home. The title basically says it all, but to add some detail, we have an 11-month-old child. I work full-time, and my wife stays home indefinitely to take care of the baby. This was a mutually agreed arrangement that could not have worked any other way, as her income would have been less than half of mine. I would love to stay home if that were feasible. My wife seems to have a common phone addiction these days, where she will be glued to the screen for hours, either watching reels, videos, messaging, or exchanging audio messages with friends. I have no problem with that. I am on my phone often myself. It is what it is. That is how most of us decompress in 2025. However, I do see a difference in our ability to disengage from it. I am on my phone during my downtime, and I can drop it at a moment's notice, for example, because the baby crawled to me or there is something to do. My wife, on the other hand, tunes out completely and does not see or hear anything around her. I also tend to use my phone when work is done, the house is clean, and the baby is asleep while she is on it in the middle of tasks, such as when we are going somewhere, getting ready, cleaning, or putting the baby to sleep. She is also on her phone a lot when I am leaving for work, which is actually a time to be actively engaged with the baby. This has reached the point where the baby might be crawling after me as I am closing the door or running to me as soon as I return, which stresses me out significantly. I also notice it frequently when I am driving, and my wife is in the back seat on baby duty but actually completely ignoring any crying or screaming. This has reached the point where I have to reach back and give a pacifier or sing a song to calm the baby while I drive. She gets very defensive whenever this is brought up, either turning it into, well, you are using your phone as well, or, well, that is for work, because she does some side projects online. This is fair, but the amount of time she spends and the money it brings in are nowhere near making it worthwhile, nor do these projects actually account for most of her phone use. Would I be the asshole for addressing this and suggesting that she dedicate at least 8 hours of phone-free baby time every day, and then we can split the evenings? Update, since this is getting out of hand, and I cannot engage with everyone. The question is framed in a provocative manner because this subreddit requires a clear conflict to be spelled out. No, I am not actually looking to police my wife's phone time, but I am concerned about the balance between the baby's needs and self-care through doom scrolling. I am not expecting 24/7 attention on the baby from my wife or myself. That would not be possible or healthy. However, I do think there is a time for naps, meals, independent play, active play, and the need for passive supervision for safety reasons and soothing as required. The conflict seems to be about where to strike the right balance. I am not talking about neglect. Obviously, the baby is healthy, clean, well-fed, and hitting all milestones. However, that does not mean she is getting sufficient face-to-face time, including reading, playing, singing, being held, and similar activities. It might be a cultural or regional norm, but I was not even aware that sitting in the back with the baby in the car or letting them sleep in the stroller or outside could be considered unusual by anyone. In any case, my wife and I are in agreement about this, so it is not an issue for us, and the baby is happy with it too. I do not think crying it out is a legitimate parenting approach, and neither does my wife. However, she unintentionally resorts to it when distracted by her phone. When I am present, this means I need to drop whatever I am doing to tend to the baby. If I am not there, it potentially results in an inconsolably crying baby, which I am not comfortable with. I am not the father of the year, nor do I attempt to appear as one, but I do a significant portion of childcare and am very involved. Obviously, everyone will still project whatever their partner, or their gender stereotypes dictate, so I cannot argue with everyone about my actual level of involvement. The issue is really about when I am not there. What I do when I am present might make the situation more or less fair, but it will not resolve the problem. Commenter 1. She does not work. You do not have any family nearby. You say there is no friend group. Her entire world, 24/7, is the inside of the 4 walls of your home, you and an 11-month-old. Of course, she is escaping into her phone. That is her only outlet to the outside world. You need to have a bigger conversation about her overall satisfaction with the situation, her general mental and emotional well-being, and offer helpful suggestions, not ultimatums. Soft, you are the asshole / leaning to everyone sucks here. Hard agree. Babies are exhausting. Adult brains need something else. Also, you do not see her all day. You only see her at the beginning and end. Is your child fed? Is your child clean? Is your child relatively happy? If yes, your wife is doing great. Help her instead of trying to criticize her parenting. He says somewhere that the child is developing normally. I work in early childhood education. Back when the center I work at opened, I ran an infant room closed off to the rest of the center. Side note, I live with family, I am multiply disabled, have worsening medical conditions, and we all feel safest this way. It means they can take me to the emergency room in an emergency in the middle of the night, as I had not gone before when I should have when living alone. It has saved my life more recently being with them. It is just safer. I am a big introvert. Most of my socializing is with my friends over Discord instead of in person, both because it saves energy from introversion-related mental energy demands and disability-related physical energy demands, and most in-person friends have moved away. So, there was this week when my family all went on vacation. My friends were not online because they were on vacation. I feel like it must have been over the 4th of July. And I did not talk to any adults for a week, except for brief hellos and goodbyes to my coworkers, and my babies were in and out right on time, so I did not have time to chat with my coworkers before anyone arrived or after they left. And let me tell you, my introverted autistic self thought I was thriving. That was until my family got back and all I wanted to do was talk their ears off, but I was all baby talk. High-pitched voice, narrating what I was doing, what they were doing, signing to them, asking if they wanted some water while signing it to them. I was a mess. I had fully forgotten how to interact with adults like a normal adult. And I was ready to cry because I was having adult interaction. My brain was being stimulated with adult conversation. And I love babies and everything about them. I research things I can do with and for my children constantly, from activities for my room to research on what is best for their developing brains. But even with reading, researching, and keeping my brain stimulated in other ways, and having downtime every evening and night, I needed that extra adult interaction and stimulation. The original poster's wife is in a similar situation. Her only adult interaction is with her husband, a baby 24/7/365, and no break from parenting. That is driving her mad. She needs some sort of escape and interaction with the outside world, and the internet is the only place she is getting it. I am a stay-at-home parent, and the highlight of my week is often when I go to the grocery store and get to make conversation with a cashier. I miss hanging out with adults in person. Commenter 2. You raise some good points that stay-at-home mothers need contact and support from outside the home, and the internet might help connect women with loneliness. However, if the mother's only form of contact with the outside world is social media, that is just as problematic. She should put her phone down and take her child for a walk or go to the library or some other activity. Search for free family activities in your area if money is a concern. If there is no social structure in place, she is not going to find it on social media. She has to create it through real relationships, not parasocial relationships. Social media provides instant gratification. She gets the social need fulfilled without much commitment or effort, without worrying about how she looks, making a good first impression, or trying to make friends with someone she does not have anything in common with except children. Some people have social anxiety but still need a social group somehow. And when you have a child who throws tantrums, I have a feral toddler who can be the sweetest angel or a Tasmanian devil at the drop of a hat. It is exhausting to take them outside, because sure, they may behave and the library is fun and all, or they may go on a rampage and then everyone is staring at you. You feel judged, even if they are not. And it is mentally and physically draining. Phones provide instant gratification without leaving the house. Mothers are under so much pressure to perform well, look decent, and so on, even if we put a lot of that pressure on ourselves. Is it better to spend time outside? Absolutely. Is that always feasible or manageable? No, we have a playhouse and chickens in our backyard, which we hang out in relatively frequently. But it is 90 degrees today, so the very little free time I have will definitely be spent reading, not on a free activity outside the house. We do not even know if the original poster's wife is or is not taking the child outside. All of his examples are from when he is around. It could be that she is actively engaging in the type of child-led curriculum that would make a Montessori teacher blush when the original poster is at work, But then when he is around, she zones out because she is just done. Commenter 3. Information. I understand that this arrangement works on a practical basis, and you both agreed, but was your wife actually happy with it? Did she want to be a stay-at-home mother? Or would she rather be working? Did she originally want to, but now things have changed? Is she lonely? Does she have a support system besides you? Does she have friends? What about family nearby? She is disengaged with the baby, which absolutely is not good for the child. Maybe find the reason rather than just telling her she has to put her phone down and expecting everything will resolve itself after that. She might be deep into postpartum depression and detached. She should be spoken to, and maybe if it continues, the original poster or partner needs to recommend speaking to trusted people in their life. I just want to throw it out there that I desperately wanted to be a stay-at-home mother. I saved over $40,000 so I could contribute financially to any major projects, car or home repairs, or medical expenses during that time. I was so bored my face could have melted off. A few months ago, this post could have been about me. Exactly. Just because someone agreed and wanted to be a stay-at-home parent does not mean they will be happy with it. I hope things got better for you. Commenter 4. I would love to hear the wife's side personally. Probably goes something like this. I am exhausted. I have been postpartum depressed for 6 months, and I have not been out for a normal adult activity in those same 6 months. I have not told my husband because every time I do, he gaslights me and guilt trips me. My husband works, and because of that, he refers to himself as the provider. Yet I provide so many things for my child, including a body to grow inside, milk to drink, love to receive, and care all day and night. Because he is the provider, I am told I have an obligation to do everything in the household, and the only thing he has to do is work. Every night when he comes home, nothing is up to his standard. Dinner is not good enough. Direct. The house is not clean enough. The baby is not making enough progress. When I tell him that I am feeling down and as if I have a harder time controlling my emotions, he tells me to snap out of it. I am emotionally exhausted and do not have it in me to defend myself, so I lash out. Then he says I am setting a bad example for our son. He does not come home until late on Fridays because that is boys' night. If I confront him, he says he is the provider and needs to blow off some steam, or we will not have any money. Why do I not get a girls' night? This man sounds like so many men I know. They do not like it when I do not play into these narratives and say I am soft and let my wife control me. I say I respect my wife and my child is going to see that, so he respects her too. Obviously, we cannot know for sure one way or the other, which I thought was implied, but I guess I will explicitly state it here. Commenter 5. Information. Is she actually doing this to get you to do half the work of child rearing? I am not hearing that your child is actually neglected, so she is taking care of the child when you are not there. Came here to ask this question. Is this maybe something that happens when there is another parent present, and she has a chance to disengage and share the childcare load? Commenter 6. Are you only seeing this when you are also home? Maybe those are the only chances she has to really decompress, scroll, and catch up with social media. What is going on during the day when you are away at work? Is the baby fed, clean, and otherwise healthy and cared for? Is the baby developing well and hitting milestones? There is a lot of blank space missing in this, and it does not paint a full picture. It is also important to note that two parents can parent completely differently. Ignoring some cries is not going to hurt the child, but the parent who is not so used to hearing crying all the time might be more sensitive and react more quickly. Dictating a full 8 hours completely phone-free is a bit extreme. Consider being completely isolated for 8 hours every day. No conversations with coworkers, no meetings with banter, not even a wave or a how's it going? That adds up quickly and is going to have a negative outcome. I would just have a conversation and ask about screen time and see if she is needing other outlets like baby groups or even a weekly time to herself to reset. Maybe a class once a week or a new hobby. Stay-at-home mother life can become really redundant and make you lose yourself easily. So finding a way to keep her mentally satisfied could help.